My worst bride was an Ivy League educated shrink. She tried to play head games with absolutely everyone involved in the planning of the wedding, frequently had fits. She and I butted heads because she wanted a carpet running straight from the bottom of the stairs to the doors of the chapel. I told her it wasn't possible. They didn't line up. She kept on asking me if I was sure, even after I showed her exactly what I meant. She narrowed her eyes and told me she thought I had a problem with the truth. She was very controlling with the groom as well. I remembered their names and looked them up on Facebook a while back. They are divorced and he appears to be happily remarried. Wow, that is some tea. I really appreciated that you gave me the ending of the story because I'm always wondering what happened in that marriage. When I hear about like a terrible bride, it's like someone married that, you know? Happily remarried. A bride once called having a meltdown because her friend got engaged as well and was planning to get married in the same year as she was. Apparently it was her special year, not just a day. She threw a huge fit that this girl was only getting married to steal her thunder. Her friend's date wasn't even the same month or season. Hers was in October and her friend's was in June. I understand. In a group of friends, you hope or want, like, you know, your special day to feel special. However, that is months apart. You know, like they're both gonna be equally as special in their own way because they're two different relationships, they're two different weddings. They're celebrating the love on both of those days. My brother's first wife wouldn't allow any of our family that she hadn't met into the wedding. Now, we've got a good sized family, so that would mean things like inviting one cousin that she'd met, but not the parents or siblings that lived out of town. We offered to hold an engagement party so she could get to know some of our out of towners, but she declined, saying she didn't want to feel obligated to invite these new family members that she'd only met once and didn't know very well. In the end, we decided to go with the intimate family only. We figured it'd be less awkward and rude than to pick and choose between family. My brother ended up having 6 people at his wedding, along with around 65 from the bride's side. 6 people from yours and 65 from the bride's. Like, I understand it's kind of weird when you meet family members and stuff for the first time at the wedding. It's like, wow, it's so nice to meet you. Let's celebrate my relationship. Like, I get it's a weird thing. However, there's so many out of towners and stuff that you invite them because it's like, I know that they would like to be there, a part of my special day, this one important day of my whole life. It happens. Sometimes you just invite them and you meet them. What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we are checking out some more crazy Bridezillas who just took their wedding way too freaking seriously. When we went to the reception, we were expecting a buffet or something to be set up, but there was nothing. Later out, we found out that there was no food for the 120 guests, but rather a cheese spread, fruit platter, and vegetables with dip. After an hour, people were really hungry and some people started to leave because they were expecting to be fed and didn't want to stay. When the bride found out, she ran across the room in her dress and blocked the doors, screaming about how everyone is ruining her wedding and screaming, "Bride's day, bride's way." It was such a scene that her father had to peel her off the door, and people who didn't know her that well all left. I heard through the grapevine that she was inconsolable the entire night, got trashed, and threw up. Bride's day, bride's way. Happy wife, happy life. Like, why are all these sayings about women making us look like these crazy entitled people? That's insane. Especially if you have alcohol at your wedding. You're telling me that I'm supposed to get drunk and do Jaeger shots all night with just some cheese spread, fruit platter, and vegetable bites? I will die of alcohol poisoning. I work in an industry with a busy season such that you cannot get time off toward the end except in life or death situations. When my wife's sister let us know that she was getting married just after the busy season, I told her that I was glad it was then because if it had been even 3 days earlier, I couldn't attend due to the time it would take to travel the 900 miles to be there. The next day, she called us and told us that they moved the wedding 2 weeks earlier. Well, I apologetically explained to her that I couldn't be there because it would literally be the end of my career. She didn't listen to a word I said and tried to guilt trip me into going, despite then knowing I wouldn't attend in this situation. Even before they changed the date of the wedding, I would get phone calls every day with either my sister-in-law or mother-in-law yelling and screaming at me because I was going to ruin the wedding by not being there. My wife went to the wedding, I ate pizza, it was friggin' delicious. That's so tricky. The fact is, you guys, when you get married and you try to do it as far in advance and you save the dates and you send wedding invitations, you hope to God that people can arrange to be there. It just doesn't always work out that way, you know? And no offense, but are you gonna pay my bills if I lose my job to go to your wedding? Who's paying my bills? It's not gonna be you. So I'm going to my job. Like, are you crazy? At the wedding I went to, the bride replaced a bridesmaid of hers at the last minute because she dyed her hair a slightly light brown the night before. Apparently it didn't match the dress, which was bright pink. I think any color matches bright pink, to be honest. What do you mean? Slightly lighter brown. Brown and blonde, no matter what shade, would still look killer with pink. So I don't understand. It's just so petty. I'd be so freaking pissed. No way. No way. Coordinator here. We had a death in the family. 6-month-old baby. A few days prior to a wedding, I called the bride and told her the situation and said that my assistant would be stepping in for me so that I could attend the funeral. She told me to send my assistant to the funeral and that I had better be at her wedding. I told her I would be sending her a refund and that no one would be coming. As you should have. I will be damned. I will be damned if someone puts their wedding above me attending a funeral that's clearly significant, and you don't get to choose if it's significant or if it's something that I need to be at. Thank you very much. And the fact you were like, I'll send my assistant, you don't have to worry, your wedding will be cruising. And they had a problem with that? Ugh. We showed up to an outdoor wedding in early March and it was freezing. There was food, but it was cold. There were no chairs. There were tables with chairs under a pavilion, but they were reserved for family and wedding party only. The games that were supposed to entertain guests broke during the very first game played. Cornhole, corn everywhere. The groomsmen were cold and tired of standing, so they invited a large percentage of guests to their getting ready suite, which had couches and a pool table. The bride discovered this only after their beer and wine ran out 1 hour into the reception. Cue a screaming match in the middle of everyone. The groomsmen liquored the groom up and he danced the last song before passing out behind the DJ, while the bride took a tear-stained selfie with her bridesmaids. Well, honestly, if the party ain't bumping, you sometimes gotta create the party. I would have been in that suite so fast, you know? Let's play some music, let's play some pool, let's order some freaking McDonald's for everyone, and let's call it a day. Not my experience, but a former coworker of mine. He and his wife went to a wedding in Hawaii and took a full 2 weeks of vacation to do so. Wow. They arrived 2 days before the wedding, which was on a Saturday. They figured that if they were going to Hawaii for the wedding, they'd make it worth their while. I would too. I would take a vacation as well. Apparently, they were the only couple that elected to do that, or at least admit to it and discuss their plans, and the bride lost her poop about it. This is my wedding. Why is it just a footnote for your vacation now? His wife apparently laughed in her face and told her to call if she decided to grow up about it. To her credit, the bride did call later to apologize profusely about her outburst. Nerves, I guess. Well, you know what? I think this is the first story where someone has actually apologized afterwards when they like realized how petty they were being, so we can appreciate that. However, you better know I'm doing the same thing. If I'm going to a destination wedding, that's a lot of money, that's a lot of time off work to be at your wedding. I'm going to extend the trip and probably spend some time with my partner or my family or my friend or whoever I'm bringing. It just kind of makes the most sense. It was a stinking hot, humid day and nobody wanted to be outside for the outdoor wedding. We were doing wedding party photos and everyone was dripping in sweat and about to pass out, so we decided to finish the rest of the pics in a nice shady spot. The bride threw an actual honest to God tantrum because she wanted to make the party hike all the way across the venue grounds to get shots in front of a full sun pond. None of her bridesmaids wanted to do the 10-minute walk in their heels and would have been a terrible spot for photos, which we mentioned. She pouted her way through the rest and they divorced a year later. Y'all, you only lasted 12 months? Holy. That's bad. That's real short. I hate being hot. If I ever decided to do an outdoor wedding, it's not going on in summer. It's going on in September. This month right now, where it's sunny and beautiful with a nice cool breeze, because I am not sweating. I don't want to sweat through my dress. All right, guys, these were some brides who just need to calm the F down. I'm going to do today's Sassy shout out before I leave, and it goes to Danielle Normand. Daniel, oh my God. Daniel Normand. They said, how do you drop your phone in the toilet? I really wish I didn't tell this story or that the editor didn't keep it in, because now I have to explain, but it's fine. I have no shame. Don't judge me, but it was actually a public toilet. That's so gross. I no pockets, nothing, no pockets, nothing. And I was in like a skirt or something, like a dress. I had nowhere to put my phone. My only option was to put it on top of like the toilet paper thing, and I looked at it and it was gross. Okay, it was at like, I forget where I was, but it was gross. I was like, oh my God, I have nowhere to put it. So in the thought process of like, where do I put it? I didn't know. I'm like, do I shove it in my bra? I don't even think I had a bra on. And I'm like, where do I put it? And in that, when I turned, it just slipped out of my hand and went right into like the toilet. But it was a very quick recovery. I was just very quick to act and it was absolutely disgusting and I'm not proud of it, but I put it in rice and it still works to this day. So, all right guys, I am getting out of here. Subscribe, leave a like, do all the things. I will see you in another one. Stay classy and stay sassy. Divorce is a very common thing. But You know, I could have just kept it positive. But I have a lot of divorce in my family. Anyways, y'all get what I'm trying to say. Wow, these are long. I have a hair in my mouth. Have you even subscribed to the channel yet? Don't be a fake fan. Hit that subscribe button. You know you want to.